A day like this 60 years ago, Kenya celebrated its first Independence Day, where our country was liberated from the colonial rule. But what is to show of the 60 years since independence? That's the agenda for today. The celebrations are taking place with a theme focused on, and I quote, jobs, labor, migration, entertainment, and entrepreneurship. This year, Jamhuri Day highlights Kenya's commitment to addressing youth employment and entrepreneurship, key aspects in building the nation's future. We have prepared this story and more in our international news bulletin. Good afternoon. This is the Ambassador, with me, your Ambassador Paul Madenge. To begin our bulletin, Kenya is celebrating 61 years of independence today, marking a historic milestone since the country became republic on December 12, 1964. President William Ruto is leading the nation in the celebration held at the iconic Uhuru Gardens in Nairobi. The event also features special guest, President Adama Barrow of the Gambia, who is attending the recognition of the strong ties between the two nations. Let's take a listen.
Today, President William Ruto, in his capacity as the Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, is presiding over the 61st Jamhuri Day celebration at the historic Uhuru Gardens along Lang'ata Road in Nairobi. This location is very significant as it was here in 1963 that the British colonial flag, the Union Jack, was lowered, marking Kenya's first step towards independence. The president is joined by special guest, Gambia's President Adama Barrow, who arrived in Nairobi on Wednesday evening. The celebrations are taking place with a theme focused on jobs, labor, migration, entertainment, and entrepreneurship. This year's Jamhuri Day highlights Kenya's commitment to addressing youth employment and entrepreneurship, key aspects in building the nation's future. Across the country, Kenyans have gathered at Uhuru Gardens to witness a day full of cultural performances, military parades, and speeches. These events, alongside the historical significance of the day, remind the nation of the sacrifices made to secure Kenya's independence and the progress made over the decades. As Kenya celebrates its past, the focus remains on building a prosperous future, with Jamhuri Day serving as a reminder of the country's unity and ambition. Irene Juguna, GBS News.
In a bold move to combat the world's highest malaria burden, Nigeria has launched a nationwide malaria vaccination program. The initiative aims to curb the staggering toll of the mosquito-borne disease, which killed approximately 200,000 people last year. The first phase of the program is being rolled out in Bayelsa State, which has one of the country's highest malaria infection rates. Let's take the listen.
In a groundbreaking effort to fight malaria, Nigeria has begun implementing a malaria vaccination program aimed at protecting its most vulnerable populations, particularly young children. The vaccine, scheduled targets infants, starting with the first dose at 5 months, and aims to significantly reduce the number of malaria-related deaths in the country. Bayelsa State, located in Nigeria's southern region, is one of the first areas to receive the vaccination as part of the program's rollout. The state has one of the highest malaria infection rates in the country, making it a key focus for the initiative. Bayelsa State's Commissioner for Health, Professor Seifa Brisibe, highlighted the gravity of the situation, stating that malaria accounts for about 30% of deaths in children under 5 in the region and is a major factor in keeping many adults out of work, both mothers and fathers.
Malaria here, the prevalence is high, and of course it accounts for about 30% of deaths under 5 children, and it also accounts for a good number of reasons why both adults, mothers and fathers stay out of job.
Despite early successes in Malaysia, the state is dealing with misconception and misinformation surrounding the vaccine. Professor Bisibe pointed out that some communities influenced by religious leaders have expressed doubts about the vaccine, including unfounded claims that it causes infertility. The Nigerian government is working diligently to combat these misconceptions, ensuring that the life-saving benefits of the malaria vaccine reach those most in need. As the program expands, officials are optimistic that it will play a crucial role in reducing malaria-related deaths and improving the health of Nigeria's children, women, and vulnerable populations. With continued public education and support, Nigeria hopes to make significant strides in overcoming the devastating effects of malaria and ultimately eradicate it. Irene Juguna, GBS News.
In a significant step towards easing tensions in the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia and Somalia have agreed to hold, and I quote, technical talks, end of quote, to resolve a long-standing dispute over Ethiopia's controversial deal with Somalia's breakaway region, Somaliland. The agreement, reached following high-level discussions in Turkey, aims to address both nations' concerns while promoting peace and cooperation in the region. Triza Auma reports.
Ethiopia and Somalia have agreed to hold technical talks to address a dispute related to Ethiopia's deal with Somalia's breakaway region, Somaliland. This agreement follows discussion mediated by Turkey after tension arose over Ethiopia's January 2024 memorandum with Somaliland. The deal, which involves Ethiopia leasing land in Somaliland to establish a marine base and recognizing Somaliland's independence, was opposed by Somalia, which views the region as part of its territory. The joint declaration was announced after talks with the Turkish President Erdogan, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, and Somalia President Hassan Sheikh outlines plans for discussion starting by February 2025. These talks aims to resolve the issues while respecting Somalia's territorial integrity and exploring Ethiopia's need to secure access to the sea. The sides are also focused on mutually beneficial commercial agreements. Ethiopia, the world's most popular landlocked country, has been seeking reliable sea access, which Somalia has resisted, giving its stance on Somaliland's status. The declaration has signals a shift between cooperation between the two nations, which have historically been rivals. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
And that international news brings us to our very first break. We will be right back with even more.
Because those people, let's commend them on their quality. Sana sana their music videos quality na anga top notch.
Kwa artist atakuwa msanii. Usiingie, usiende kwa studio kwanza kurecord ngoma bila kuwa educated about music. Juu sasa utaingia hapo, urecord ngoma yako vizuri alafu
hiyo utakuwa umegain kila kitu, but pia label uyachangi hivyo. Yeah, we helped you, so you are supposed to
do something.
Yeah.
Kiingia unapewa contract. Unajua contract inakonga between two parties. Mnaagria under one thing, kila mtu analeta interest zake, then mnaangalia vile mtapata.
We have talent in the ghettos, but manze usanii ni ngumu, designer wise endelea.
Manze mimi niliona movie ya Kenya je. Na movie ilikuwa ina trend. Walitumia Land Rover hizi za kitambo, hizi chuma, hizi
mtu akisenza audio kitu ni ya uongo.
Umeelewa kabisa.
Form 1 kuna mseme hando akasema ni artist. Akaambia kuja hapa bro. Unichore pilipili na ukali yake.
Mbona pilipili but sawa, but now how the ukali.
So through the four gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our
죄를
sins.
지셨고
He carried our sins,
십자가에 못 박혀주고 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고
and he was crucified, and he received the punishment for sins,
무덤에 들어가셨다가
and he was put into the tomb
사흘 만에 부활하셨습니다.
and resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak,
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
about how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being
우리
crucified,
죄를 감당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
he was crucified to pay for our
그래서
sins.
예수 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데
And through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back. This is the Ambassador News. And now, South Korean police attempted to search President Yoon's office on Wednesday as part of an investigation into the controversial martial law declaration on December 3rd. The rapid is part of a growing inquiry into Yoon's role in the decision, which has led to a constitutional crisis in the country. The police were unable to enter the main building due to disagreement over such methods, significantly escalating the probe into potential insurrections charges. Abdi Hamid Ali has more.
The investigation centers on President Yoon, who is accused of ordering military intervention to prevent lawmakers from voting on the rejection of martial law, an act that could be seen as an insurrection. Key figures, including former Defense Minister Kim Yong-gyun, was arrested, and yesterday reports emerged he tried to commit suicide while in custody. It is confirmed he is in stable condition. The National Police Chief and the head of Seoul Metropolitan Police have been arrested in connection with the case. Yesterday, police raided President Yoon's office, but authorities did not enter the main building. President Yoon was not in the building during the raid. Yoon was not seen in public since last Saturday when he apologized to the nation regarding the declaration of martial law. He faced national backlash as a result, and he is barred from leaving the country as the investigation is ongoing. As calls for Yoon's impeachment intensify, the Democratic Party has proposed a new bill to remove him from the office, pending a vote this Saturday. The situation remains tense, with many questioning the future of South Korea's leadership and its democratic institutions. This crisis raises important questions about the balance of power and accountability. Can a country truly move forward if its leadership is embroiled in such controversy? South Korea is at a crossroads where decisions made today will determine its political stability tomorrow. Whether this situation leads to further unrest or a resolution will depend on how those in power respond to the call of justice and the preservation of democracy. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
Farmers from across the UK, including hundreds from Wales, have gathered in Westminster to protest against the government's new inheritance tax policy. The changes, set to take effect in 2026, have sparked widespread concern over the future of family farms, with many fearing they will have to sell off land to meet tax bills. Let's take a listen.
The UK government's new inheritance tax plans have struck fear and anger into farming communities. Under the policy announced by Chancellor Raquel Reeves, farms value over $1 million will face a 20% inheritance tax payable over 10 years. Farmers argue the tax threatens not only their livelihoods, but also entire rural economies. Local businesses that depend on agriculture, such as feed merchants, mechanics, and equipment suppliers, could also face economic strain if farms were sold or downsized. The government, however, insists the vast majority of farms will remain unaffected. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer reiterated at the G20 summit that the tax only applied to farms exceeding $3 million threshold, with payments staggered over a decade. Treasury estimates suggest around 500 estates will be impacted annually. These reassurances, farming unions and advisors remain unconvinced. Data from DEFRA indicates that up to 2/3 of farms could potentially be impacted. Rural affairs experts are also highlighting a lack of clarity and understanding about the tax true scope. As protesters in Westminster continues, the government remains firm that the policy is a fair and balanced approach to support public services. But for the farming families who see their livelihoods at risk, the fight to safeguard their future has only just begun. Joy Kuria, GBS News.
That's all for today at the Ambassador GBS Global. Meet me same place, same time at 1 p.m. I am your Ambassador Paul Madenge. Good afternoon.